Hello. In this video, I will go through some of the commands in Excel for finding the roots of a function and solving systems of equations. So we have these two equations and we want to solve this with one of the commands, which is Goalseek. So Goalseek can be found from Data tab, Forecast group, What if analysis, and then you can find Goalseek. Before solving this equation using Goalseek, let me create a plot for this first equation. So I would define this equation as the formula for y, and then I would plot this on a workbook. I copied and pasted the equation for y here on a workbook. So now I'm gonna enter x values here. I would start with 0, enter 0.1, and now select these two cells, click on this autofill handle, drag this down up to 30. Now here in this cell, I'm gonna enter the formula for y, equal sign, select this cell to the power of 2, plus, again select this cell, minus 2, enter. Double click on this autofill handle. Now select these two columns, insert, this is scatter type, and from this plot you can guess the solution would be 1, because at 1 the value of y would be equal to 0. So one method is creating the plot, the other method is using Goalseek command. So for Goalseek command I would type variable here, value. Here I would enter my equation, and here constraint. My variable is x. I would start with my first guess, which is 0. The equation is equal sign, select the value of x to the power of 2, plus, again select this cell, minus 2, enter. For the constraint, I would enter 0. So I want this equation to be equal to 0 by changing the value of this cell. So press enter. From data group, forecast, from data tab, forecast group, click on this drop down menu for what if analysis, and then select Goalseek. So I have these three cells here to fill. Set cell to value by changing cell. So I want click on this arrow sign, select this equation. Here enter 0. By changing cell, select this cell here, the value of x. So I want to set the value of this cell to 0 by changing this cell here. Click OK, and Excel would solve this equation for you. Click OK. So the solution is 1, and it would give a 0 value for my y variable. Now I have this equation to solve. So again, I would plot this at the first place. I would define this equation as my the formula for y. I copied and pasted the equation here. So I would start with my x values. I would start with -5, enter -4.9, and now select these two cells, drag down this autofill handle up to 110. So I have these values. Drag this for one more cell to get 6 here. Now again I would enter the formula for y, 2 times x to the power of 3 minus 5 times x minus 25, enter. Now select these two columns, press Ctrl and select this one, insert, so again from the plot you can guess the value, the solution for this equation is somewhere between 2 and 4. So another method is the Goalseek method. So here again I would type variable value equation constraint. My variable is x. I would start with 2, so my first guess is 2, because from the plot I can see it should be close to 2. The equation is equal sign 2 times x to the power of 3 minus 5 times x minus 25, enter. The constraint is 0, enter. Now go to data, what if analysis, Goalseek, again set cell, select this equation. I want the equation to be equal to 0 by changing this value of this cell here. Click OK, and again OK. So it solved this equation for me, and so it would be 2.67743. Now what if my first guess value is something else? So what if I start with 0? Enter. Now again I will go to data, what if analysis, Goalseek, select this equation, and I want this equation to be equal to 0 by changing this value here. Click OK. So Excel start this numerical method and trying different solution, and it comes up with this value, so which is not correct. So in Goalseek it is important what is your first guess. So plotting the data is a good idea before you use this Goalseek method. You can narrow down the range of the solution of your equation. And after plotting this data here, you could guess that the solution would be somewhere between 2 and 4. So I would again start with 2. So again go to data, what if analysis. Set this equation to 0 by changing this value here, and this one is the correct solution for our equation. The other command in Excel for solving equations is the solver command. Suppose we want to solve this system of 3 equations, 3 unknowns. We have this x, y, z as our 3 unknowns. So I'm gonna copy these 3 equations and paste it here in my workbook. Now here I would enter variables, values, equations, and constraints. My variables are x, y, and z. My equations equal sign, the first equation 2 times, select the value for x, plus 4 times, the value for y would be placed here, so select this one, plus z, enter. Second equation, 3 times x plus 2 times y plus 2 times z, enter. And the last equation, equal sign, this cell, plus y plus z, enter. What are the constraints? We have 34, enter, 34, enter, and 15. Now I can start with my first guess here for these 3 variables, but you can also leave it empty and start using the solver command. So from data tab, analyze group, click on solver. And if you don't have solver on your ribbon, you can find it here. Go to file, options, addings, and here find this solver adding, and then click go and OK. I already have this command on my ribbon. Click on solver, and here you need to enter your constraints. So set objective to, then I would select this one, value of. Now click on this arrow sign, select the first equation. I want the first equation to be equal to 34. Now click add. I want to add additional constraints here. Select second equation, equal sign here, 34. And now add this a third constraint here. This equation must be equal to 15. Or you can enter 15 here. Click OK. So I have these 3 constraints, the first one here and these additional 2 here, by changing variable cells. So click on this arrow sign and select these 3 cells. We want these 3 cells to be changed until the solution is found. Click solve, click OK, and Excel would return these values for your variables. You can test the solution here, enter equal sign, 2 times 4 plus 4 times 5 plus 6, enter, and it would return 34, which is correct.